in there. I just had to find a spot for me.
And I'm sitting over here because my voice
I just like,
I stand all day there.
I get antsy with that.
So, and it was, I also wanted to look at it this way, is if you're brand new to Phi Theta Kappa, if you have any questions about Phi Theta Kappa, feel free to ask, that's why we're here. So it's to help get you guys more comfortable as to what your roles could be throughout the whole entire year. Because this is my second year involved in it, and I've been both the vice president for a chapter, I'm currently my chapter's president, I'm also the regional president and stuff like that. So I've been doing this a little while, so is there any questions before we start?
It's about chapter roles.
Okay.
Should I ask now?
Oh, no, feel free.
Well, I have a question, like, what exactly is the chapter role for president? Because I kind of feel like ours is becoming almost lost.
Hey, Chelsea.
Like, it's becoming kind of like, no one really knows anymore who's doing what.
Well, from what I understand as a presidential role, oh no, come on guys. Right now we're discussing about what we see as far as like the role for the president of the chapter and stuff like that. There's chairs around the corner if you want. So basically, I don't think we have another table though. So basically what I've always thought of like the chapter president and being regional president this year kind of falls along the same lines is you're kind of the on the chapter. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to help keep people focused on where they should be going. And sometimes it's kind of hard when you have different personalities. I know a little bit about what you're talking about. So it's very difficult. It's a very difficult situation for you. I sympathize with you a lot, believe me on this. So, but it should be that the president is the one who kind of they delegate just a little bit, but they try to keep everyone focused on where they should be.
You know, if the president has ultimate power.
Well, it depends on your chapter bylaws. Like in the case for my chapter, the only time I ever vote on any sort of topics is when we have a tie. Other than that, I don't vote.
And then if you don't vote, do you have to go and approve everything that comes through you and you have like vetoing powers?
No, I don't have veto powers. Same thing with the region. I have no veto powers whatsoever. In fact,
Is that like a not common thing, no vetoing?
like I said, it depends on the chapter. I mean, it depends on what's written into your bylaws. Like when it comes to as far as like the regional stuff, most of the time it's like, hey, what do you think about this? Everyone's like, okay, that sounds cool. We just do it anyways. We don't actually, I don't think we've ever really held a formal vote so far in the region whatsoever. As far as the officers goes, what do you think about it?
We seem to work more on consensus.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think that's probably the best way to go because everyone has their input. And there will be instances where you have someone come and put their foot down and say, no, we should probably have it this way. But those should really be few and far between.
What about Friday?
Because you guys have to realize you are basically a small family.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have to work so much together as a chapter team that if there's any animosity, it's not going to work well. So,
It's been a while.
could you briefly go through all the different officer positions and what they do? Okay, well, the titles themselves vary by campus, but so I'll go through my campus and campus. So we have chapter president, which is me. And then we have a senior vice president, which is kind of like, we call him a jack of all trades. If someone's not there to do something, they're the ones that does that. And I told that role last year. So if someone's not there to take meeting minutes, they take minutes with them, they email any minutes out and stuff like that. And then you have the different varying officer positions from there. Ours are all vice presidents of something. So the VP of Communications, which handles like all the emails, they're supposed to do all the Facebook pages and stuff like that. We have the VP of Archives, which takes all the meeting minutes and stuff like that. We have VP of Activities / fundraising, so they kind of coordinate all the activities we're going to do on our campus, and they kind of work on the flyers and stuff like that. So that's the 5 positions that we have. I know you have more than 5 positions on your campus because you have such a large officer team. It's very obvious.
Yeah, we of course have a president, and then we have a VP for each of the home market areas. So we have a VP of Leadership, Scholarship, Service, and Fellowship. We have a VP of Membership as we move back. It used to be membership coordinator. We said this position is way too much to be a coordinator. They should be a vice president level. So we have a VP of Membership. We have a volunteer coordinator who works with the VP of Service to help find volunteers for events or for any kind of events. We have a PR officer, which is what I do this year, so any kind of public relations, posters, website, all that stuff. And we also have officers at large, because sometimes we have somebody comes in, they want to be involved, but maybe they're not quite sure what they want to do yet, or all the positions are currently filled, but they want to be really involved. If you want to be really involved, we want to make you an officer if at all possible. So we rarely have really active members, because if you're a really active member, we're like, be an officer. Because then you get the benefits, you can travel, we get tuition reimbursements that we divide amongst ourselves depending on how much work that you've done. And so we want to get people into officer positions. So we love having lots of positions, but we don't always fill them. We have several that are open right now. And so what happens is our VP of leadership is that jack of all trades. If there's something that needs to be done and the position's not filled, they take it on.
And like for on my campus, there are officers at large, they're called project managers. So like I said, the title really isn't the biggest thing, it's just what they're supposed to do. From what I understand, most chapters run, the titles change, but the duties are pretty much the same. So, any other questions? We still have like 40 minutes to kill, so.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions.
Oh yeah.
How do you do something?
Because Jenny's been involved for how long?
This will be my 3rd year as a chapter officer. Second as regional.
Share the proposal that we present.
If you guys have questions, feel free to ask.
We don't, we're just down here because we're advisors and
Okay.
this is where our room is and so this is where we're working. All right.
How would you
So-
boost
okay.
morale of your chapter?
You need a cheerleader. Like, I know as
Vice President cheerleading.
So were you here when we actually kicked off the shindig yesterday and I said, how's everybody? And it was like quiet. And you go, no, really, how's everybody? Got a little bit louder and louder and louder. You need
I came in late.
Okay. you need someone who's going to be, I'm also a member of the student government on my campus. We have someone who's a recording secretary, we call him the hype man. He's going to bring the hype this year. So you need someone who's going to take on that role to say, if someone's down in the dumps, you need someone who's going to pick them up. Someone who's, it's going to be your champion, your cheerleader on your campus.
That's why having a VP of fellowship oftentimes is so important, because they will do the social events. Because the problem is we are so focused on work doing our honors and action projects, our college programs, businesses, we forget to stop and have fun. And if you don't stop and have fun as a group and eat together as a group, things like that, then your morale starts to go down. And so if you take it and do a movie or something.
Isn't like one of the main, if I remember correctly from the website, there's like 4 points in Theta, Kappa.
Or hallmarks, yes.
4 hallmarks.
Yes.
And fellowship is one of the 4.
Fellowship is
Exactly.
the last one.
Because and it's the one that we're the worst at, because we're so about work that we forget about the fun. And it's very important to have fun.
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, that kind of brings me to my question. A lot of our campuses we have a lot of commuter students who are just in and out and off the campus. How do we cast a net to grab these people to actually stay a little bit longer and see that PTK is not, maybe so much of a commitment worth it in these already busy times for a lot of parents and
What we started doing on my campus is we actually conduct workshops every single term, if not twice a term. Don't pick the same subject. Like last year we did money saving tips. We had a business instructor who's run many successful businesses come and say, they gave a half-an-hour presentation on money saving tips. One of them was, if you're offered a credit card that gives you cash back, use it for your gas. And pay the bill off every single month. Reason is, if you get 5% cash back, you're saving 5% of your gas bill every single month. Little tips like that, keep your tires in the way. So we did that one, we did time management skills. We've done scholarship workshops. And then as part of each one of the workshops that we do, you give a little bit about what Phi Theta Kappa is. You don't have to do like a 20 to 30 minute presentation. And all the stuff that we're doing this weekend, all the PowerPoints will be online, so you guys can customize it how you want and say, these are the benefits you can get out of Phi Theta Kappa. And all the travels I've been, because I've been to your campus, I get asked a lot, what can I get out of Phi Theta Kappa? I don't know what you can get out of Phi Theta Kappa. It's whatever you put into that.
right.
And as far as like commuter students, those might be the ones that are hard to pick up and say, can you help us on campus? But
We already do.
if you have a commuter student who's good at graphic arts, have them design a poster. You try to find tasks that those people can do in their own free time, because I'm sure people want to help, they just don't have a lot of time. everyone is so busy. It's trying to find time that works into people's schedules and giving them tasks to do, you know? And don't be like, they'll say, oh, we got this thing in 3 days, can you make a poster? So I'm sure if, you know, like I said, if you have someone in the graphic arts department that wants to help out, if you give them a video time frame, they'll probably blow your mind with what they can come up with.
And one thing that we're getting ready to do is, I'm trying to put together bios of every one of our our officers, but I want them to be different. I want them to not just talk about this is, you know, the class I'm studying and stuff. I want them to talk about their lives. Like, you know, for instance, myself, I'm married, I have an autistic child, I own my own business, I work full-time, and I'm working on both my bachelor's and my associate's at the same time. But I'm also chapter officer for Regional Arts. And it shows people that you can be busy and still fit these things in your life. But then also talk about that I'm a business student and web designer and stuff, so that people look and they go, oh, I have an autistic child. And I mean, that's how Jeff and I first met. We first met, I have an autistic child, so do I. An immediate connection. And so, you know, you get those details about people's lives, you put it in a newsletter that you can email out to people, and they see it and they're like, they make that connection, and then once a connection is made, they're more likely to come to an event or help out and stuff.
So it's kind
Surprised you have time for anything else.
I
Well,
love finding it out.
of, she doesn't sleep, let's put it that way. It's
There's
fun.
that too.
Well, it's so hard.
Surprise yourself with it now.
Well, it's so funny because like I'll put something on the regional Facebook page and she'll like it and then she will go to bed. And I usually post at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So yeah.
That actually brings me to another question.
Sure.
Sorry.
Oh no, feel free. Keep going.
So how do you find the time to integrate social media into reaching out to new students and to keep touch with the current members?
That's we tend on my campus we tend to use the VP of communications. That's basically their job.
Okay.
So they're the ones that are charged with the emails, the Facebook. If you have the Twitter account, they take care of that. Because you have to find someone who's got the time to do that. Really, it shouldn't take that much time because it takes 2 minutes to post something on Facebook or on Twitter. LinkedIn, I never got on LinkedIn, so I don't know about that stuff. But you know, you got to find someone who's got the time and who's willing and very good at it. That's the big thing. Is you got to find someone who knows the key points for the external communication and that kind of stuff. So it's if you know, and I hate to say, I mean, if you find someone who's like 18, 19, 20 years old, they're usually pretty good at that stuff. Where I couldn't handle that stuff. So you know, because I tried to do that stuff last year, it was terrible. Got better.
And it's, I was gonna say, it's important to, like Jeff's been doing every day, post something, because if you post something and then it's a couple of weeks before you post again, people quit looking, because they're like, well, they never posted it. But if you're constantly posting things, even if it's just a pick-me-up for the day, although never ever write, have 110% today.
No, turn it up to 11.
Yeah, never write, turn it up to 11, never, because that's the worst day.
That's fact.
But, we found that out.
Well, the day that I posted on the regional Facebook page, that was the day that we found out Velda was being let go from a position as regional coordinator, so.
And then I found out that a paycheck had been lost, and I almost got evicted. And
Yeah, so-
it was a horrible day.
So now we're
never turn it up to 11. But yeah, I mean, just regularly doing it really helps.
I mean, for our campus, I'm looped in with the ASPCC too.
Oh, awesome, yeah.
And I know all the communications guys, so, I mean, I'm sure that we could get a link to PTK on the ASPCC page at least.
Student government campus?
Yeah, me too, so.
Student government here?
See, and I will tell you, you're also a Phi Theta Kappa member.
Just Brad.
Just
He's
brand
brand new,
good.
yeah.
Good. We will give you so much credit that it's gonna be fantastic. But no, since you know him and you're also in student government as well, use those connections to get more people involved. You know, when I was interviewing for the Student Leadership Council on the campus, they go, well, we're trying to get more people involved. I go, if you want more people involved, you involve yourselves. You have to affect the change that you want to see on your campus. So that makes sense. You know, so use the connections you have on your campus. If you're in good with your student government, use them. Trust me on this, use them. If you have not made friends with your newspaper on your campus, make friends with them. Use them. There's so many resources available to you guys on your campus, it's not even funny.
And don't be discouraged just the first year or two. You have trouble with your newspaper, your radio station, whatever it is. I mean, we've been trying, and this is the first year where our newspaper's like, yes, we want to run your stuff. And then the radio station comes to us and they're like, we hear such great things. We want to cover you guys. And it's taken 3 years of winning tons of awards and stuff to get to that. So if it takes a couple of years, don't get discouraged and say, I'm not gonna do it, and keep trying.
Last year, I actually was one of the guys who helped restart our PCC paper after an 8-year hiatus. I'm still, I might come back as the editor this year. The application process is closed yet, but I come from being a journalist, so if anyone has any questions about how to help get the news media to cover our events this weekend, come and say hi, because I can help with, at least pitching to papers. You have to really sell them on a reason to spend their power, which is always short too.
So before my question, I just kind of like a brief little overview. I'm sure everybody knows that we're 2-star and we're trying basically really working on getting a 5-star. We're actually at this point where we've been building with the event planning, this momentum where we have things in mind. So I'm fortunate that 2 of my officers are part of student government already. I will be having an interview in the next week or 2 to be part of student government. And then Anthony being last year's president, and he's going out for editor of our paper again. So we're doing these connections and kind of building. We already have some workshops planned where we're collaborating with government. And we're all kind of seeing this start to build. So we're doing the C4 campaign at the club fair. We got almost 2 pages of people signed up for the PTK, where most of them are already eligible. So I've kind of talked to like 3 or 4 people that are already like they're bringing their money out of the next couple of weeks, and a couple of them hearing me talk about these different positions. That obviously we only have a couple positions because we're a baby chapter. So is there a good setup where, like one of the people I know that she's an art major and she would be great at helping with that he said about the posters and things like that. Is there a certain rubric where you think like, oh, these would be good officers to start adding? Because I don't want to get to where all of us are suddenly taking on this huge thing that's growing. Does that make sense?
Right, yes.
So we can kind of run with it.
I think I almost brought the position that we had at Newport. So what I'll do is on the regional webpage, there's a link at the top that says docs, and it's broken up by events. I'll post, because I have yours, Sigma's Zetas, and ours, and so 3 different sets of officer descriptions. And so I'll post those up so that you can see them, because they all vary a little bit in names, but the descriptions are very similar.
Okay, and that'll be on the regional site?
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of at that point where it's like, I want to add things that will help us the most,
Oh, yeah.
or what we need, so it kind of keeps everybody going instead of like, what did we do? Because we're just on that rank of really moving forward.
I'm so proud of you guys. I really am. You
It's
have
so exciting, like.
Because you guys were the chapter that I kind of adopted last year, so I just love it.
It's been so helpful. I mean, all of us have been so into this planning mode. Now we're kind of like, oh, now we can learn more about PTK.
I know.
We new members, but one goal that we're very set on, and I would like at some point additional help from the regional
Oh, absolutely.
is we're going to internationals.
Good.
However we make it, I don't know at this point, but it's going to happen. And I keep telling everybody, it's like, get the site out of the money, like it's going to come. We're going to find a way to do this. So we have some ideas already, but just whatever we can do to get ahead and just get moving on it.
Yeah, we decided we're gonna work early, because usually we don't start till like January, go into like the student senate and our student organizational council asking for funds. This year I've actually started pricing everything, and by Monday, each person is supposed to say yes or no, I wanna go or I can't go or don't wanna go, whatever. So that we know how many people. And one of the things we're looking at doing is, as our student aid funds come in, those of us that can are going to chip money into our Theta account, and it gets put into a sequestered fund with our name on it, so that come time, like say my goal was to put 600 in there. That 600 is towards my registration. And so when we go to student government and such and ask for money, we can say, we have students that have already put forward half of their fee. We just need you to cover the other half. And because that's huge buy-in, then the Senate says, yeah, okay, we'll do that. The student put in a bunch, even if it's 300 and that's a quarter, it's still a lot of money. I mean, some clubs can't raise that much money for the whole club to put forward. And if one student, put a couple, even just a few hundred, it makes it easier to get funds for the school.
So you said student government?
Oh,
Yeah, at our school, we can ask for 2 for
Yeah.
Because we're really connected with ours. We're really fortunate. Like, we all really have a strong bond. so I'm trying to host this. It's like,
Well, last
we're
year-
trying to really collaborate.
So as the student leadership council finance director, I sit on a glorified bookkeeper, but I'm also in charge of the co-curricular fund on my campus. Last year, we would make a presentation to our SAP committee, which is the committee I'm the head of, for, say, we want these additional funds, so we can send more people to the international conference. We're like, well, what's going to be the benefits to the other students on campus? And we're going to come back and give them workshops. Don't make this, this is for everyone who wants to go after student government for funding. Don't make it about just your Phi Theta Kappa chapter. Say, I want to do this so I can benefit every single student on campus.
Because that's what they want to know, because that money comes from, the activity fee that you pay,
Right.
comes from every student, and so they want to know how you're going to benefit. So like, we started a book club using the books that came from International and Honors Institute, which they love. They're like, we've never had a book club on campus. And doing workshops and different stuff like that, because then you can say, this is the benefit to give for the money that you spend.
Yeah, and so when we made that presentation, they said they were going to get about $1,500 for each group that came in, gave a presentation. We got $5,000.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we usually get between 5 and 6 to cover international and regional.
And if you go into these presentations with a budget already in your hand,
Yeah.
and what you want to do is check like your website, especially, okay, I would tell you this trip is going to be very expensive because you're probably talking $600 to $800 per plane ticket unless you can find a smoking deal.
Yeah, they're running 500 to 600 right now, so we figured 1,200 to 1,300 what the school and chapter will pay, unless you're chipping in. Plus, you need all your food money. There's only one meal included.
Oh, okay, so that's, so
Really
12 to
big
1,300 per person?
What was that?
12 to 1,300 per person?
Per person.
Not counting food?
Not
Not
mine.
counting food.
Okay, we thought it was about 1,000, so that's good.
So,
Yeah.
but, and then also, there are other cost-effective ways, the hotels that they recommend you stay in are about $200 to $300 away.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay away from them.
Yeah.
Last year, what was
The only
it?
thing is this time it's at the resort, and I looked it up. If you're gonna stay somewhere else, you have to get a car. And it may, if you're only a few people, it's gonna cost more to stay off-site than it is.
Can people share rooms?
Yes.
Oh, yes, like, because I already called and they do have rooms where you can fit up to 4 people. So that's what we're doing. We're like, there's 2 beds, there's a pull-out couch, and a roll.
Yeah.
And you just, and you may be a school, because like, our school likes the separate beds for each student, but some don't care, and people are like, hey, I don't mind, it's just for sleep.
Yeah.
And you can fit, they said, according to their rules, 5 people. You can fit 5 people.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm telling you, if you can make it to the international conference, there's nothing like it.
Hardly ever in your hotel room.
It's just like the big goal, like we just keep
Yeah.
talking about it, and it's just like, no, like, don't let it be negative, I know
Oh,
it's
no.
big, but it's gonna happen.
Oh, no,
Keep
yeah,
forward.
and like I said, if you can come up with a budget to whoever you need to utilize for the funds, and you give a well-rehearsed presentation, like, okay, they really mean business, it makes a huge difference.
Well, no, we've also done this for people student government, people to apply for like their tax.
See,
That's
So,
the key.
I've had a couple
Because
different,
they
like,
buy
I have
into
an
your
application, I'm like,
You know what I'll do? I have my funding request that I wrote up for last year. I'll post it to the regional site too. And you can see how we did it, because we're required to have a budget. We have to show them, this is what we think the hotel will cost, this is how much we think airfare will be. And we have to lay it out every expense.
and you want to actually budget probably a little bit more than I think,
yeah.
just because something wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like at our college, we have to go through the travel agency that the college uses. So there's a fee for each ticket. And, the ticket they find might be a little bit more expensive than what we were able to find or whatever, so. A little leeway is always good. Like if you see the tickets are $550, maybe you say they're $600.
Yeah, that's a
That way.
terrible
Yeah.
administrative rule, by the way.
Well, and I noticed on some of the flight tickets when I also was looking, some of them are like, the cheaper ones are like undesirable flights.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
or you're gonna get there too late.
exactly, especially because we're flying so far this time, because last time it was easy. San Jose, we left that right.
Yeah.
But now we're looking at, we're gonna have to leave Wednesday if we don't want to miss anything on Thursday. So that's an extra night. So
We're looking at leaving on Sunday night. staying with
I want to,
us.
yeah, I want to leave earlier.
So how many in this room has been to an international conference? Just us two?
Oh, it's the
Oh.
best experience.
Oh.
They say you take a political convention, the Grammys, and a rock concert, or the Oscars, throw them together, and that's this event. I mean, it's amazing. The workshops are great, the speakers are just, you're just sitting there like, you can't even take notes, because you're just like, you're going, thank God that they're going to post these later.
Yeah,
I can't take any notes, because I'm just,
Well, it's the experience in the moment too.
So I was wondering, I know that our campus is short on officers, even though we're going to have a special election coming up. I know, pyros, right? Yeah, okay. The roof is on fire. You know, we have chapters that are kind of short on manpower. How much is when we work as Phi Theta Kappa members, cooperation encouraged in maybe putting together some of our events?
Are you talking chapters or?
Like 2, 3 chapters?
Yeah, 2 to 3 chapters.
Right.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And maybe I.
The biggest problem, the last problem that we had is fellowship. We want people to play.
And then maybe I should.
Just because I'm trying to make sure I have it struck in my head, isn't that part of like 4 stars collaborating?
Yeah.
If the 4-star, yeah, being involved at the regional level.
Or
But one of them,
collaborating with
there's
2 other
two
chapters.
chapters.
Yes.
Okay.
We want you to work with other chapters, especially considering you guys are important. And that's 8 campuses within a 20-mile radius of each other.
Right.
Very lucky.
Is it
8.
8 campus.
There's 4 PCCs,
Yeah.
us, Clackamas, Heald, and Columbia Gorge.
Yeah.
Some of the places are
There's 4 PCCs.
campuses and then some of them
I
are
don't know
stars.
all of them.
Rock Creek, Cascade,
Yeah, the
Columbia.
Oh, yeah, Sylvania, Rock Creek, Cascade, and Southeast.
I know Alpha, Eta, Beta,
The 2 that have been involved, okay, and then Rock Creek, which is like.
So what about for the chapters that are not in this 20-mile radius, that are like 200 miles?
I agree with you because we're about 2.5 hours apart. You can still work with each other through emails and stuff like that.
Okay.
Google Hangouts are great.
Google Hangouts are great because like for our regional team, she lives in Portland, I live in Albany, Kayla lives in Eugene, Vicky and Cynthia both live in Boise, and Landon lives in Utah. It's kind of hard for us to get together. So, you know,
What, 18 hours or something between you and Landon? 'Cause it's 16 and a half from me to Landon.
I can make it at 15 because I also drive like a maniac.
But maybe that's a good place for technology to really start.
Oh, yeah.
getting into
Yeah,
some
Google,
meetings.
I'm telling you, if you have a Google, if you have a Gmail account, get on Google Plus because you can Google anybody.
And it's nice, if you have the video camera, you can see each other and you can talk. If you don't, it's just a little chatting and you get all chat with each
And
other.
half the time, Landon's kid pops his head in during a regional meeting, my kid pops his head in during a regional meeting.
My kid and dog.
Yeah. So it's almost just like,
Yes.
every pop out there, and goes, "Ah, cool." You know, so.
I live like 3 feet away from
It
you.
never hurts to ask,
You know, the
especially since
cemeteries?
you guys are starting to get more.
I live right
active.
there.
When I first started,
We just,
you didn't do anything.
no, we started last year.
I mean, did you hear me when you guys pulled in, I was like, Schlag is here! Start
Write down
screaming.
your emails.
That's one thing we talked about when we had our regional officer meeting, was trying to get the chapters who aren't involved, get them involved. So like you guys, Clad's up on Pi-Phi, Slick, Slick actually is involved, they just can't travel.
That's why I've been so excited this weekend. All 4 PCCs signed up. Last year, 2 of the 4 PCCs had no stars.
Yeah.
So they weren't involved with us at all, and now they're here this weekend.
And that was one of the goals.
Yay,
I
Rock
had
Creek
for
and
the region.
Cascade.
Every single chapter be at least a 1-star, if not a 2-star.
And now they're doing it. Now they set the goals.
Yeah, so now they
hopefully
have-
they'll get it.
We set our goal for 5.
That's fine. Because if you don't get there, it's okay. But I always like to set it as high as I can go because I'm always pushing myself. And if I don't get there, I'm like, it's okay. I'll do it next time. But you know what? I push myself as far as I possibly can.
And the 5-star chapter development workshops, they will walk you through how to get through those 5 stars. So what's really nice is headquarters finally figured it out that not every campus can travel everywhere. Like Jamaica can't go anywhere out of state. Nuts. I'm gonna work it out.
Please do. Because it was like, yeah, we're all excited.
Oh, we can't go.
Who do we have to talk to?
Sad face. I guess Sabrina. I don't, right now, we're kind of.
Terrible advisor.
Yeah, so we'll work on it. And it's just because you don't have an advisor traveling with you, is that the reason why?
No, because she doesn't want to spend, she doesn't want to use our money to,
But it's your money to, okay.
even though, I don't know if you know our budget, but it's
We can
like.
Oh, I know,
Yes.
I heard about it,
That's
yes.
the one where like, we all wish we had it.
Yeah, I know, and we can't use it, we're not allowed to use it.
I'm sorry.
And it's too bad, because we don't get to go to international.
Why are we gonna have all this money if we can't use it?
Because the chances of us ever holding an international workout are slim to none. We just don't have a conference
And
hotel
the only place
facilities
would be
close.
maybe Portland,
No,
but
Portland doesn't have it. Eugene has a better conference center.
Rose Garden?
No, you gotta have hotel for about 5,000-6,000 people. And
Oh, this is
that's why there's no conference, no big conferences held.
No, the 2 houses
hours?
Oh, yeah, the convention
The
center.
convention center, the hotels around hold at least 10,000, I'm thinking, that's.
The level of hotel that they want, there's not
Oh,
enough.
okay.
That's why we can't get a political convention here. Yes, none of them. The only one in the region that can hold it is, we're trying to get Salt Lake. Because Salt Lake is huge. They have a huge stadium.
They have one years back.
Did they?
Our family there.
It was Seattle, I think Orlando, Nashville, back to Orlando this year.
Yeah, it
And
bounces.
then they're going to San
San
Antonio next year.
Oh.
I've never been to Texas.
I can make everyone free.
I grew up in Texas, so I'm volunteering as an alumni that year.
I wish we could go back to San Jose because I made the road trip last year.
So you do the houses down there?
Yeah.
So now that's an interesting question. So let's say you guys can't pay for your own travel out of the state, right?
We have to pay for it all.
It has to come out of your own.
I wish I would have known that because I took my Highlander down to San Jose by myself last year. I could have hauled 3 other people.
Well, that's
easily.
why I joined that time, like right after, I think, or something. Yeah, and nobody went, and it was like, so, that would have been the one we would have been okay to if we drove. If we drove, you go.
Here's an idea. Honors Institute is in Berkeley next year. Planning on that. Honors Institute, it's in June.
I want to go to that.
This,
I call it a nerd.
it's super.
I want to go to the
This,
The nerd
I
fest. I love it.
Yeah.
See, I'm academics.
I would tell you, what we are doing here this weekend pales in comparison to an Honors Institute. What we did is we had 9 speakers, and to give you an example, is we had an hour-and-a-half long debate between Thomas Jefferson and John Adams in character. That was one of the workshops that we had.
That would
We
be
had
fun.
Carlotta Walls Lanier, who's the last surviving member of the Little Rock Nine, if you know who that story.
Wow.
Let's see here, Bill Rancic, who won the first season of The Apprentice. We had, we went to the Philadelphia Phillies baseball game. So we had like an overview of what baseball, Temple Grandin spoke there, which was a very,
Yeah,
I said
that's, I wanted to
wow.
go. That's why I wanted to go.
And see what else. So we had a free day, and I ended up taking a road trip with Charles. Charles is the very large man who really disappears. You never really know where he's at. You see him. Myself, Velda, Choulet, and then Michelle from my chapter, who's not here unfortunately. We took a 16.5-hour 5-state road trip on our off day. We started off in Pennsylvania. We went to Delaware. We went to Washington D.C. We spent 3.5 hours in Arlington National Cemetery on that day. Then we went to Maryland. We had lunch at the Libyan restaurant. We ended up going back to Delaware. We stopped off at Oh My Chocolate. And I saw chocolate with Twinkies. I mean,
You have to eat them there.
But what happens is, so after you have these speeches, you break out into sessions like this, and you're in a group of like 20 people, and you sit for about an hour and talk about what you just heard. But the best part is, it's all the higher level, upperly motivated people in Theta Kappa. You're talking like in my group, I had like 9 regional presidents, and 7 of us were also chapter presidents. We had, a couple international officers, and so we're sitting there, and it's like a really big think tank. And it's just fantastic. Like I said, when I was there for 6 days. I slept a grand total of 14 hours in 6
There's
days.
not a lot of sleep there. It's based on like Ivy League education, the way they do stuff. So
It's
really
at
nice.
Cal Berkeley next year. I plan on going, and I will more than likely drive down there. And it's a 10-hour drive. Believe me, I know.
That's fun. If I can get the registration fee, I might be.
As long as I have a good book, we're not driving.
Oh yeah, it's something to think about. It's next year. I don't know the exact dates, but
So how much is it to go?
it's about $900.
That's not even counting traveling, it's just.
It was okay. So it was $900 for that. We got a $200 travel stipend. But if you win with the top 3 chapters.
Top 3 chapters in the region get a scholarship to go.
So that's how I gotta go. They used a scholarship for me to go, and then my chapter paid for my airfare to go because we were in Philadelphia. And so, but next year when it's down in Berkeley, I'm driving down because it's only 10 hours. So
Yeah, and the nice thing is, your registration is included, you stay in the dorms, so you have your lodging.
and food's
And some of your food is paid. For that free day, you have to completely cover all your food.
Oh, wow.
So you're talking
So it's a lot.
if you bring like $40 in cash, you're fine.
You gotta go to Fat Slice in Berkeley. I went to that convention at University of Berkeley, and it's right off, it's right over the road, it's like that's pizza.
And when you get there, they gave us like this little food card, and you just walked into the cafeteria, swipe a food card, and that's what you gotta get. You gotta eat whatever you want.
Yeah, it's just like you're a student there.
It's such an eye-opening experience, and it's just like, holy, it's a whole nother set of life that you have to like do.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it's completely eye-opening.
And that's all included in the registration price?
Which is why we push it, get your 5-star, turn in those hallmarks, do really good, because what happens is, depending on what you turn into international for hallmarks, you get graded. And then all those points are put together, and they rank the chapters in all of the international. And then the coordinator gets the list for the region, rank order and the points. And so if you're top 3 of the region, you get that scholarship. So that's, your whole registration fee, you just have to get there. And with it being close, that's not going to be expensive to get there.
No, it's like $180 in gas down there.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Especially for the
Well, actually, flights are like $65.
Yeah, we found all of our flights for $200. So it's, because we were.
Yeah, flights have got a little more expensive. I think to San Jose it was
$200.
It was about 200.
Well, this was flight into San Jose, not.
Oh, okay, because I know like when I fly down Congo and every 3 months.
But still, if you find a $65 ticket and then raise the $900 to go, that's still cheaper than to go in the international convention in Orlando.
So, okay, that's the next question. If you had to choose between either one, which one would you go to? And then the other question is, I'm assuming international is, you would hope to take the whole officer team.
Yes.
And I'm assuming
Nice to
both
take
of you would hope to,
advantage
but
of
it kind of sounds like the way you're describing it, the Honors and Action Institute, is that what it is?
The Honors
Institute. It kind of seems like that's more of the individual
Yes.
person. Okay, so if like only one person would get that, you would go or something like that.
And usually the advisor doesn't even go because they have a completely different event for advisors. So a lot of times they don't go to that one.
And when I went to the Honors Institute, I made so many friends there, it wasn't even funny. Like, I'm good friends with the Wyoming, Nebraska regional president. I also made friends with the entire Kansas regional team, and so we actually formed a secret Facebook page. It's called the Rocky Mountain Kansas Regional Team of Awesomeness.
And that's what I love, because I made friends at international, and now we're working together to put together a workshop proposal for international,
Yeah.
for regional communications. So it's wonderful. I love it.
I don't want this to end. This is so much fun.
I know.
I love
I just want to
it.
ask
Roundtable
questions.
discussions.
I know. So, do you have cards?
Yeah, that's why I have business
So,
cards.
we have business cards, so we're going to ask you to take them, pass them around.
And contact me, please Facebook me. I love PTK Facebook friends.
Are you guys on Twitter too?
I am, but I don't hardly.
I don't post on Twitter really. I follow the news and stuff. But I'm on, the joke is you post on Facebook and within 3 seconds, Jenny's liking it or commenting on it or messaging you or whatever.
And that's a race. I try to get it done before you.
It just depends on what time of day. If it's in that like 9 a.m. to noon, I'm probably asleep.
We need more.
I think you're sharing all the definitions for.
But yeah, I think whether you go to International or Honors Institute also depends on, are you going to be involved next year? If you're going to be involved next year, going to International is really, really good because of all those workshops. Because what we do is, I think we took 6 people last time because San Jose was so cheap for us to go. And then what we did is nobody goes to the same breakout session.
Yes.
Everybody goes to a different one because there's like a dozen, 15 or something at a time. And so we pick the best ones and everybody goes to one. And then you just keep doing that all throughout the day. And you take the best notes that you can. Sometimes they'll give you the slides, but if not, I take my phone or my camera and I just take a picture of every single slide. That way you can share it because they're really great. Like I took one and I've got all my notes, I just have to type them up. And it was on the individual hallmarks, so outstanding chapter officer, outstanding member, outstanding chapter team. And it was all about what they're looking for. Please do these things and we will give you full points. And I mean, he went through and he is the head of the team that grades them. So, yeah. And so he just gave us great tips and stuff. And so I wrote it all down because we never do enter the individual ones because we're not quite sure what they're looking for and stuff. I mean, Honors in Action and College Project are easier because there's really good rubrics. Everybody does them and you can get it nice, but it's like, I want to write it my chapter off. So really great, how do I do do it, and he just laid it out. And so, and they did the same thing, they did it with the honors in action and the college project. You could go and learn exactly what they're looking for, so you get the best score possible. And so you want people going as many of those as possible. So if they're gonna be around for a little bit longer, go to international, because you're gonna learn so much to help your team next year.
Do you have information on what you talk about the individual ones?
I've got to type it up. The wonderful thing is you get this beautiful program when you go.
Yeah.
And it's got the list and then all these note pages. And you can just take all your notes right there in it. And so I have them all saved, plus I took the pictures of all the PowerPoint slides. So I've just got to transfer it into text so that I can.
And the best part is when you're checking out and see how many hallmarks your chapter's entered into, and you actually find the secret one.
We did that. We snuck one in under Beth. And she got it.
They snuck one in on me. Did you know that?
That's the best part, is when they sneak it in on you, especially if you win. Because we snuck it in under Beth, and then we're sitting there and they're like, Beth Simmons, Ruth.
I'm sitting there checking on the hallmarks, and the next thing I know, I see 4. I knew we entered 3, and I saw the 4th one. I'm like, well, it's a click on it. See my name, most distinguished chapter officer. I'm like, guys, you know, this is going to really suck. I hate to break this up, but we got about 10 minutes till our next session. So I know.
Please use those emails, Facebook, whatever. Ask us more questions. Let us help you.
My number on there is my cell phone number. I text like a madman.
Yeah.
And if you need like an answer like that, text me. It's so much easier.
Don't call you.
If it's an emergency, you need to call me twice. It sounds weird.
I know that, I get you. I get you 100%.
I'm kind of on the road that you're on, where I'm gonna try to stall as much as I can to stay. So, yeah.
I'm not joking. I'm working on 4 associate degrees right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got into it like.
Well, you can do what I've
closer
done.
to the end because we were a baby chapter and we didn't have it established yet. So-
And if you want to stick around longer, you can do what I've done. I'm dual enrolled, and so I'm taking, this term I'm taking 1 Mount Hood class and 2 EOU classes. Like the spring, I took 2 Mount Hood and 1 EOU. As long as I have a Mount Hood class each term, I'm golden. You just can't run for international as a dual enrolled student, but regional and below, yeah, region has no problem with you being dual.
I'm still in negotiations with myself about international. So everyone know where they're going?
I'm staying right now. I was gonna say, Jenny's staying, I'm staying.
So that